Did Bitcoin top out? Is this the end of the crypto bull market? Are we going into a bear market? In this video, I'm going to answer all those questions, my honest opinion on whether we topped out yet or not, or we have more room to go up, right? I'm going to show you guys here the charts and just give you guys here my raw, honest opinion in what I'm doing at the moment, right? This is, by the way, my indicator called the logarithmic waves. If you guys want to get my indicators, I'll show some of them here. This is my main one. You guys can check it out in my description in my link bio on my WAP. You can get all my indicators. I have about 10 at the moment, and I'm making more ones. So definitely check it out. But I'll be talking about this one, right? And before that, check out BitUnix. This is my favorite, honestly, my favorite exchange to use for KYC free. Their fees are really low for spot buying, and you don't have to use this to leverage trade. You can spot buy on this, but definitely check it out because if you use my link, you get up to 300 bucks. I mean, that's free money right there that you can use towards crypto. Even if you're leverage trading, you can use that and then take out the profits, right? So check it out, and it'll be in the description and pinned comment. BitUnix, check it out in the description below. So my honest opinion on whether Bitcoin topped out or not. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This whatever you want to call it, the biggest crypto dump ever. I mean, look at this from the monthly. Does that look like the biggest crypto dump ever? Like I know it's based on liquidations, right? Which I'm gonna get to, but look on the monthly. Look where Bitcoin's at, 112K, right? We did go down here to 109, right, to retest that lows, but look at the size. Look at this candle right here. When Bitcoin went from 32K to like 17K in just one day, right? And look at that. So the reason I'm gonna tell you the reason why this was the biggest crypto dump ever in terms of money is because of leverage trading. Okay. And the reason why we had over, I believe it was like 19 billion or something crazy like that. A big reason, most of all that was leverage trading, people that were super, super bullish, especially after Bitcoin did a nice recovery and bounced back to like 126, right? 125, 126K. And people were getting bullish, and a lot of longs, especially for Bitcoin, were going out. And not just Bitcoin, but altcoins, right? A lot of people were getting invested, and you can see this in the data. You can see when people are going all in on longs, and this is why you guys should never do high leverage trading, like 10x plus, right? Especially on the altcoins. But you know, this was a very coordinated dump, and this was not just something that happens, because one thing too, guys, that people don't talk about, and they're saying, hey, you're seeing this everywhere where crypto is not, it's not strong, right? It's very fragile and all these things. But what they failed to tell you is that these exchanges didn't let people come in and buy. So think about that. While we're having this massive dump, these exchanges are preventing people from going to go into the exchanges and buy. Right? Do that to the stock market. Watch it. Let's see the stock market pulled back down, and watch what would happen to the stock market if that were to happen. It would be very similar. And so what happened right after exchanges opened up? We had a nice bounce, right? We're kind of ranging, but we're not at that 108. XRP's not at a dollar and something where it went down to. There's so many coins that just flash crashed. I think Chainlink went to like 10 bucks or something, like 12 bucks. It's at 19 bucks right now. So my main point is that this was a very coordinated, a lot of these exchanges. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of shady stuff behind the scenes regarding this. Maybe with some exchanges trying to go against each other, trying to get liquidity. I'm very, very, very certain that there's a lot of certain exchanges that bought a ton, right, on this massive, while they were preventing people like us to buying, they bought a ton while these at these prices, these super low prices in this flash crash. So the main thing here, guys, is that what goes down must go up. And I honestly think that this, believe it or not, it might sound weird, is super mega bullish for this bull market. It is very, very bullish. The fact that we had 19 billion liquidations, and all these things going on, and we saw, rest in peace to the people that lost their lives because of this massive crypto dump. But you have to understand, those people that lost their lives, all of them were messing around with leverage trading. And on top of messing around with leverage trading, they were using, right, well, they're whatever they were doing, right, in their profession, they were using people's money. So they're basically like fund managers, right? But they were using leverage. And when they lose all that money from other people's money, right, the fund manager, from leverage, because it's not something that you can't get it back, right? Once the market pulls, just dumps like that, you're basically, you lose that money. It's not like spot when you're down like 50%, but you still have it, right? You can recuperate it as time goes on if you hold it. It's different from that. And as sad as it sounds, right? We can look back in history when these things happen. When these events and all these evil things happen, it usually is going forward bullish for the market, in terms it kind of resets the whole market thing. And it's sad, and rest in peace to those people and everything that happened in this massive, coordinated, in my opinion, flash crash that happened. And let this be a lesson to you guys to not mess around and put all your money in leverage trading. There's nothing wrong with leverage trading, but number one, you should have a very small percentage of your portfolio, and number two, you should not be messing around with 10x plus leverage trading. Okay, especially if it's an altcoin, right? You really have to have good risk management. You have to have a stop loss. You have to focus on risk management and not use up your whole entire portfolio. Okay, so I'm telling you right now, this is very bullish for the markets. What goes down must go up, and I believe with this massive liquidation, right, this basic reset of the market, we're going to catapult. Okay, we are going to catapult to the upside. So I'm very bullish, and we can look here at the charts, right? What I believe, what Bitcoin's been doing here, and I believe too, and I said this about a month ago. I said we're gonna have a scenario, right, where we'll pull back. I didn't expect it to be this massive crash, but we're gonna pull back possibly to make it seem like the 4-year cycle is happening again. Okay, and there's gonna you're gonna start to see that narrative pop up. Probably right now, it's already popping up that the 4-year cycle is in play, and the top is in. There's no altcoin season, and Bitcoin and the market's going to play out with this, which is already starting to, right, with this massive crash, that the 4-year cycle is in play. But I believe this cycle is going to break that 4-year cycle, and I'm willing to hold out because I'm very certain that it will, right? I don't believe we topped out here. I believe we're going to go and explode higher, even into 2026. If you look at Bitcoin right here, it's very similar to right here, right? Pre-2017, before the massive explosion in pre-2017, right? You can see how Bitcoin just is consolidating sideways, but still moving up, right? And based on my logarithmic indicator right here, upwards, and then explosion, boom, boom, boom. We top out here in the red zone. Look at this, very similar, right? We're moving up pretty big, but we're consolidating, right, with these pullbacks, just like 2017. Look, pullback, pullback. It's just that here Bitcoin is just a major, has much higher market cap, right? And we're gonna have that explosion. I very well believe so. Okay, you can also look here on the weekly, right? The pi cycle indicator is still very far, and I'm not saying the pi cycle indicator is your number one thing to look at, but this indicator has been very accurate literally every single cycle, right? It got at least very close. We're still pretty far here, right? So for us we have to get at least pretty close here, in my opinion, for the top to be in. And the only way for us to get closer in the pi cycle indicator is if we start moving up pretty nicely, which I believe. And look, it sounds weird. I know it sounds weird, but this will happen. This major event that happened with the liquidation, the flash crash, and all these events happening, is mega bullish for the market. As bad as it sounds, you can go back in time. You'll see the worst times. The pandemic time, the worst times where it seemed like the worst things ever is happening. It usually was a complete pivot and turnaround in the market, and I believe this is Very well so. Okay, so you're gonna see that narrative, the Fourier cycle, everywhere, saying the Fourier cycle played out again. There's no altcoin season, the top is in, this and that. I'm willing to hold. I believe the Fourier cycle is basically gonna get broken, and then you're gonna start to see people FOMOing back in. When you start to see people FOMOing back in, and there's gonna be a new narrative called the Fourier cycle is broken, the super cycle is here, Bitcoin is unstoppable, it's going to 300K, 500K. When it seems like that, that's probably a good time to take profits. And I'm pretty sure that the Pi cycle indicator is going to show that as we get closer here. Okay. And on top of that, my own indicator is we're going to get closer to the red zone. By the way, this is my Pi cycle indicator custom, right? I made my own version, and you can get it with the other one if you guys check it out on my WAP. But again, I just wanted to share with you guys, kind of give you guys here some type of hopium, because I know it sounds weird, but this is mega bullish. This is bullish. This is a complete reset. And you would think, for this being the biggest like crypto crash event thing in history, Bitcoin will go like below 100K or something like that, like crashing down here into the 80s or something, right? I mean, look at this. Like I said, back in the bear market. But no, you have to understand that this was mainly focused liquidation, the biggest liquidations on longs, and it's mainly on leverage trading. Okay, and what happens is, when this happens, when we get this reset, we have all this free space to go back up. Okay, so I'm very bullish on the market. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.